Alright, shalom, shalom, shalom. Back at it again. It's the brother Tazarat from the Great Millstone, South Carolina Maintenance Branch. Coming at you with another quick edifying lesson through the spirit power of the Lord Yahweh Shimon Shai. Alright, and before I get in this lesson, I want to give all praise going unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rekak Kadash. The honors to the pastor, elder, and bishop of Great Millstone who taught her to shoot and who were today. Shalom to the occupants on the four corners of earth and all true righteous sincerity. All right, shalom. All right. So in today's lessons, I want to be going into 2nd Edges, the 15th chapter, verses 1 through 4, and the point being in verses 4. Okay. Once again, this is 2nd Edges, chapter 15, verse 1 through 4, and the point that I want to make is in verse 4. All right. So this is 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 1. It said, "Behold, speak in the ears of my people the word of prophecy, which I will put in my mouth, said the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai." Right. So the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai, he put his words in our mouth, man. Who is we? The prophet. All right, we are speaking the words of the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, man. Okay? All right, so the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, he put his words in our mouth to speak his will and his doing and his words, man. All right, the word of prophecy. And prophecy means to tell before, man. All right, and that's what we're doing to you so-called Nicolai, to the Native American. We prophesizing unto you, ultimately unto the elect, man, of the nation of Israel. All right, but the Lord Yahweh Shimon Shai, he put his words in our mouth, man. All right, that we may go out on the four corners on the earth and prophesy, man, until the wind. All right, that's why we do our sit-down videos. All right, I do camp lesson, midweek camp lesson. I do it, like I said, do our camp lesson, week in and week out. Do sitting down videos, week in and week out. Walk and talk, driving, flowing through the spirit, whatever it may be. But the Lord, he put his words in our mouth, and we prophesy to his people, you so-called Nicolai, to the Native America, down to you so many Indians. But out of the nation of Israel, only elect men going to receive this truth, this wisdom and understanding. Okay? 2nd Ezra 15 and 2, it says, "And cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true." Right, so there's no excuse, man. All right, the Lord Yahweh Shimon shall have his words written in paper, and they are faithful and true. Best believe the Lord's words will not come back void, man. All right, point blank period, man. All right, so there's no excuse, man, because the Lord Yahweh Shimon Shai, he has his words on his little cellular device, computers, mini tablets, iPhones, Androids, iPads, computers, once again, on the internet, man. But first and foremost, written in paper for you so-called Nicolai, to the Native American to understand it. But only elect men will understand it, because they are faithful and true, man. The Lord's word are faithful and true. So there's no excuse that you don't know the Bible. All right? Because the Bible is still the #1 selling book here in America, man. No, scratch that, in the world. The #1 selling book in the world, man. The Bible, man. Which is instruction for you so-called Nicolai, to the Native American to get right with the Lord before it's too late. But again, to disregard the men of the Lord and their saying of the Lord Yahweh Shim Yahushai, the words of the Lord Yahweh Shim Yahushai. But the Lord's words are faithful and true. All right, because this Bible, which is faithful and true, All right, once again, for the nation of Israel, warn you and tell you about the Jacob's trouble, hour and temptation. All right, World War III, the implement the MOTB, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Warned you of Esau, the other heathen nation. Warned you of 2/3 is going to be destroyed on this side out of the nation of Israel. Tells you about, the Lord Yahweh Shah, mention their name, some of his miracles, some of the Lord's work, the elect men. It tells you your future and your end, which is the end of Esau rulership. It also tells you your beginning. Because the Lord's words are faithful and true. You can't get around that, man. So what's the Lord Yahweh Shimon Shah says it's going to be, man? Ain't no way around it, man. You people going to learn, man. Oh, yeah, and Slock, if you hear the noise in the background, my, washing, my dishwasher going on, washing the dishes. So it's a lot for the background noise. But back into it, man. 2nd Ezra 15:3. It said, fear not the incredulity imagination. It's like, it said, fear not the imagination against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. Right, man. Fear not the imagination against thee, man. Let not the incredulity, meaning, the wicked, the wicked of the nation of Israel, the scoffer, the unbeliever, the unbelievers are there in trouble thee that speak against thee, because, scoffers of the nation of Israel will scoff against the man of the Lord and his words, man. The man of the Lord and the Lord's words. Scoffer will scoff against the man of the Lord and the Lord's words, man. They throw slander, false accuse us, saying they been know about this. Don't preach to the blacks, preach to everybody. Letting them know everybody can be saved. You don't know what you're talking about. You're not educated enough. Your job don't pay enough. You look like bums. You barely can read. Do y'all got high-paying jobs? All right, this is what these scoffers be saying, man. Not in my lifetime. That the Lord Yahweh Shai is a white man, which the word even called Jesus Christ. They say that's a white man. Show me otherwise in the book that he's a different God. Where we can show you in a minute. Revelation 1. Around the 13th verse. But the scriptures say, don't not let the incredulity and the trouble thee that speak against it. Like that. Don't let the unbelief, shake your faith that speak against this wisdom and understanding. Because 2/3 is going to do that. Regardless, that's part of their, they're part of their plan. That the Lord Yahweh Shimon Shah has stored the plan 2/3 for his own people. Because the Lord, got to allow 2/3 to play their part so he can show his power. Show you what not to do or what not to become. But listen to the men of the Lord, Yahweh Shimon Shah, man. All right, so it's time for you to get right with the Lord before it's too late. Hey, that grace period is not forever. It's almost up, man. Don't have a forever today, man. Do what you got to do for the Lord Yahweh Shimon Shah. Go out there in the highways of heaven, man. Because if you deny the Lord Yahweh Shah, The Lord Yahweh said he's going to deny you in front of his Father, which is the Lord Yahweh, which is his name, and he is or he exists. All right. The point I want to make, it says, 2nd Esdras, chapter 15, verse 4, it says, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness, right? All right, the ones who scoff against the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai, the one who say there's no such thing as God, all right, the ones who say everybody can be saved, the ones that they say you shouldn't call on the Lord's name, the ones who say that, you know, that Yahweh shouldn't be worshipped, the ones who keep denying the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, the ones who say they don't believe in no power, and the ones who believe in the higher power, but only for a little bit. The Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai said, all the faithful shall die in their unfaithfulness, man. All right, because you never knew or seek God the Lord, man. Isaiah 1 and 3. That's why he called them two stubborn animals. You know, he compared them to the nation of Israel. All right, because these two stubborn animals, ox and the ass, know his master cribs. But Israel do not know, no one consider, man. Because they believe anything and everything, man. They believe in a woman. They think salvation lies between a woman's leg. They believe in their job, to put their job, their family, and everything else before the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. When the Lord tell you that your unfaithfulness should die in your unfaithfulness, the unfaithful should die in their unfaithfulness. The ones who never truly believe. The ones who were once in the truth and went back into the world. You're going to be beaten with many stripes. But the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, he's going to show you better than the Lord can tell you, man, especially the times that we're coming in. All right, you might want to get right with the Lord before it's too late, man. Trust me, that great spirit is almost up. You don't have a faith in the day. The Lord Yahweh Shai, he's about to show you. He about to show you his wrath. The Lord went out of want design. We praying to be part of that number of 144,000 next, the ones that be beamed up in the chair. We looking to be saved from out of this wicked ass place. I wait for you, wicked ass people. I wait for you, wicked ass heathen nation. We're ready, man. We're ready for big Yahweh Shai. Big brother Yahweh Shai make his return. A salvation near than we believe. Romans 13 and 11, man. All right. But, not to stress the point, I made my point. All the faithfulness should, all the unfaithfulness should die in their unfaithfulness, man. All right. That's the point we made. And it's sin against the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. But Lord, when I ask this lesson was edifying, just like I started, I want to end the same way. I want to give all praise and honor to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rekak, Kadash, the honors to the apostles and elders and bishop of great wisdom who taught it the truth. And who were today, shalom to the Akins on the folk on this earth, and all true righteousness and sincerity. Until next time, shalom.